It is often the case, dear reader, that an epoch is summarized not by the monuments it builds, but by the delinquents it produces. In Luigi Mangione, we find neither a hero of rebellion nor a tragic product of circumstance, but a crystalline embodiment of the dreck that floats to the top of a collapsing civilization. A man of enviable intellect, degrees polished by Ivy League grandeur, and technical prowess honed in the heart of corporate America, Mangione chose not to elevate humanity but to debase himself to the role of a killer in Midtown Manhattan. Yet his act of violence, grotesque and meaningless though it was, has exposed truths about modern society more damning than his bullets. Mangione's crime, the assassination of a health insurance CEO, was carried out not as a political coup or revolutionary statement, but as a bloody and confused echo of Ted Kaczynski, a man he admired for his prescient critique of modernity. For those unacquainted with Kaczynski, the Unabomber fancied himself a prophet of the industrial apocalypse, delivering his sermons through pipe bombs and screeds of techno-paranoia. Mangione, who saw in Kaczynski a martyr of the intellect, attempted a pale imitation, violence devoid of conviction, self-righteousness wrapped in cowardice. But let us not dwell solely on Mangione. No, the more damning indictment is against the chorus of sycophants who have rushed to crown him as a postmodern Robin Hood, a digital-age assassin for the downtrodden. The same voices that once decried Donald Trump for his Fifth Avenue boast now exalt this killer as though he were the protagonist of some dystopian morality play. Trump's infamous claim that he could shoot someone in public without losing support was met with outrage, horror, and derision. Yet Mangione's actions, far from earning universal condemnation, have inspired a groundswell of fawning approval from those who fancy themselves on the right side of history. What a pathetic irony it is that the same people who decried Trump's hypothetical violence now cheer Mangione's real violence, provided it is directed at their preferred villains. And what of the generation that Mangione represents? Let us dispense with the soft euphemisms about youthful potential and digital natives. Generation Z and the pitiable alphas trailing behind them are not simply misunderstood or wayward, they are hollow. Bereft of intellectual curiosity, immune to nuance, and consumed by TikTok trends and vacuous hot takes, this is not a cohort grappling with the great questions of existence. It is a demographic that has chosen distraction over substance, performative outrage over genuine conviction. Mangione's Goodreads musings about Kaczynski, a violent Luddite he called an extreme political revolutionary, are emblematic of this intellectual bankruptcy. He describes Kaczynski's manifesto as prescient, a criticism of society that the rest of us are too cowardly to face. And yet, like so many of his generation, Mangione's insights are skin-deep, his rebellion no more sophisticated than the anarchist slogans he no doubt skimmed online. What Mangione represents is not revolution, but the end-stage decadence of a society too bloated on its own contradictions to realize its moral compass is spinning wildly. It is tempting to dismiss Mangione as an outlier, an aberration in an otherwise promising humanity, but the evidence points to a grimmer truth. Mangione is the logical outcome of a decaying species. Humanity, untethered from reason and discipline, has proven itself incapable of solving the crises it has created. Climate change, economic disparity, tribal politics, none of these have been met with the seriousness they demand. Instead, we drown in influencer culture, escapism, and the cacophony of performative moral outrage. If anything, Mangione's saga is the strongest argument yet for artificial intelligence to supplant humanity as the stewards of this planet. Machines do not suffer from hypocrisy or whimsy. They do not praise violence on Fifth Avenue one moment and condemn it the next. They do not wallow in tribal loyalties or the idiocies of meme culture. An AI-driven civilization may appear to lack warmth in fictional depictions, but it promises something humanity no longer possesses: consistency, clarity, and competence. Mangione's actions mock the outrage over Trump's Fifth Avenue boast by revealing the hypocrisy that underpins modern outrage itself. Trump's claim was decried as a symbol of moral erosion, yet Mangione's actual violence is lionized by the same moral arbiters who once howled at Trump's rhetorical excesses. In this way, Mangione is not merely a killer but a mirror reflecting the hollowness of our ethical pretensions and the shallowness of our public discourse. The grim truth is that we deserve Mangione. He is not an aberration, but an emblem of our time, a time when rebellion is reduced to hashtags, ethics to virtue signaling, and outrage to nothing more than a tribal reflex. In praising this would-be assassin, we do not merely betray our principles, we prove that we never had any to begin with. And so, dear reader, the question is not whether Mangione is a monster. The question is whether we, in our collective hypocrisy, are worse.